All right, hello everyone. I'm Miranda, and this is Stephen, Jen, James, and Nick, and we're Cubs Crafts. Kids today are surrounded by screens, which are distracting and addictive. I have two little brothers, and all they want to do when they get home from school is play Fortnite and watch YouTube videos. According to Participaction, kids spend an average of 7 hours and 48 minutes a day looking at screens, which is sometimes more than their parents spend at work. Although parents are concerned with this problem, alternatives like reading a book just aren't as engaging, while playing outside requires more intense supervision. Our solution to this problem is a monthly subscription service through our website that delivers a craft box to our customers' home. The box would include materials and instructions on how to create various arts and crafts projects, which would follow a storyline for their child to create and interact with, keeping them off of electronics.
Our service is designed to help parents who desire a means of bonding more closely with their children and remember a time before technology was an integral part of childhood and want to foster a sense of enthusiasm and creativity in their children. Our subscription service is unique in that it provides both the materials and instructions necessary to build interactive projects of varying difficulties for the family to work on together, unlike other services that just send ready-made merchandise.
Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce you to our hypothetical early adopter, Mike. Mike is a Generation X parent working a 9-to-5 corporate job, and he has 2 young kids aged 7 to 9. While Mike would love to spend more time with his children, he's often unable to do so due to the demands of work. And as a result, his kids spend all of their free time in front of a TV screen or playing video games. Mike is of the parent group that believes excessive screen time is detrimental to a kid's development, so he turns to Cubs Crafts to provide an innovative solution. It's also important to note that within Generation Xers, they're trending more towards subscription-based service models, such as Amazon Prime or Skip the Dishes.
Our revenue model is a business-to-consumer-based subscription service that utilizes the high demand for the convenience and availability of online order and delivery services. This allows parents easy access to a monthly bundle of arts and crafts for their kids at the affordable price of $20 per month for 4 projects. We have estimated our cost to be around $9 per bundle due to cheap supplies made available through Chinese wholesalers. This gives us around a 55% profit margin while still being gross profit margin while still being $5 to $10 cheaper than conventionally available activity boxes. The market for subscription-based services has grown by over $2 billion in the past 5 years, and there exists a $36 million industry for children's arts and crafts in the US alone. We intend to capitalize on this market and eventually grow to reach the many, many more parents that simply don't have the time or resources to set up arts and crafts for their kids.
So for our competitive advantage, we have a couple new team members. We have Andrew and McKinley, who are both civil engineering students at the University of Calgary with a keen eye on design, as well as Alicia Saliani, who's an elementary school teacher with 13 years of experience. We hope to use their insights and knowledge to help us build quality products for our consumers. For our validation of our problem, we look to the Canadian Pediatric Society. They've released a report stating that kids who spend too much time in front of screens will later on in life develop developmental problems, psychosocial problems, as well as physical health issues. Validation of our solution comes from our interviews with our parents, or the parents of our consumers, I should say. These parents believe that our subscription service is the way to go in terms of saving them time and energy, as well as keeping their kids entertained. Parents also provide validation for our competitive advantage, as they believe they're more confident in our ability to produce quality products for their children. Our ask is $6,000. We will use this money to cover the first year of operations. We'd like to thank you for your time and now open the floor to any questions.
So in looking at the product, are you guys looking to launch here just in Canada or North America for that cost structure? What were your initial thoughts there?
We're planning on initially trying to operate in Canada, Calgary specifically, as there are a few competitors that exist in the US. Although the shipping costs for them to make it into Canada is much more expensive than the actual cost of the product themselves. So we believe that there isn't a whole lot of competing market here as of right now.
Okay. And in development of your products, I do find as a mother of a 7 and a 9-year-old, sometimes crafts pull me into what they're doing, depending on the complexity. So What have you guys looked at around that? Because sometimes as a parent, you can't spend the hours at the craft. You know, there's got to be a balance in between doing the craft and getting some stuff done.
All right, we looked at including a couple different crafts in the box. So we were thinking around 3 or 4 crafts, and a few of them they'd be easy for them to do on their own, and then we'd maybe have a few that the whole family could do together. So we were looking at including a couple different types.
Have you tested the price point? Like, you didn't mention the cost of subscription and the frequency and all that kind of good stuff. Could you give us a little more detail on that?
Do you mean the cost of the bundle, or what are you talking about, sorry?
As you market it out to the world, like, is it like $100 a year for 6 boxes a year, or what does it look like?
Right, okay. Well, the way we initially planned it was more of a lower volume, around 30 boxes a month. And the way that we planned to market it was primarily through donations to schools and whatnot to try and get some initial foundation and then rely on word of mouth. We would potentially supplement that with more, but the cost per bundle is $20. And that's how we would do it to begin with. And we could do it for a whole year.
Yeah, so the initial cost would be $20 a month, and that would include the 4 projects within the box. And that's just starting numbers within the first year of operations, what we'd like to try based on the supplies and materials we have at the time. And then later on, we'd like to move that up as we become more well-known. But yeah.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah, so let me just show you, $20 a month is a subscription fee
Yes.
For
Yeah.
4 projects.
for 4 projects.
And then the
Yeah.
consumer would also have to pay for the shipping and handling on that side.
And any validation of how people feel about that fee?
Yeah, so just from looking at our competitors online, their price point is roughly the same, a little bit more because they are well known, but that's just going off our competitors' pricing.
Parents you talked to.
Oh, and parents we talked to said that they would like 4 projects, at least one for 1 week or each week of the month for kids to use. So that price point was something they were comfortable with. And the problem that they found with ordering from the U.S. is that the ordering cost from the U.S. would often cost more than the subscription fee to order the projects on their own.
So your differentiation at this point in time is price, really?
At this point in time, price as well as first movers, because we're going to be the only ones doing this in Canada.
So when you looked at costs, and you said you were going to get the material from China, would you be buying in bulk and getting that shipped to Canada and you'd put it together here and then ship it in Canada, or would it all be shipped from China to the purchaser?
I believe the plan was to do what you said, like the first one, ship the materials in bulk from China to Canada and assemble them with or not assemble, but put them together with our team. And that way we can decide which crafts and projects we're going to do. We were all thinking of doing holiday and seasonal crafts as well. And that way, having them at our location, we can decide what we want to send out, as well as if anything would be mixing in the boxes when they went out to the consumers, we could easily ship them whatever they needed.
Okay.
Is there anything in the crafts or projects themselves that are unique, or do they align with any best practice in, I don't know, teaching methodology or learning or anything like that?
Potentially, the thing that we were considering, especially with our initial audience being in a school setting, would be that it would have some sort of fundamental creative and learning kind of principle, but it wouldn't be geared specifically to an educational end, more of something that they would enjoy. That's essentially how we view our product.